All right. Welcome to the Scorched Earth Podcast Sports Division for Thursday, February 13th. All you guys out there, Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Better start stocking up. Better start getting stuff. Man, oh man. I wonder what it's like in the WNBA. I wonder how they do that old Valentine thing. You know, it's predominantly a women's league. Well, it's not predominantly. It is a women's league. I wonder if they do special things for Valentine's Day. I know that's an incredibly sexist and misogynistic thing, but man, ladies are cool. I mean, you know, they could be an athlete and they can also be a woman too, right? I mean, they can do it all. What was the old commercial? I can make the money and I can fry it up in a pan. You know, women are so much more talented than men. But if you could, please hit the subscribe and like button. Leave your comments. Anything you want me to talk about, I'd love to. We're still organic. We're still growing. We're still trying to figure it out. And until my next dose of fentanyl gets in here, I'm freewheeling it. So let's go. Bregman. I kept thinking he was going to go back to the Houston Astros. He signed with the Red Sox, 3 years, $120 million. I'm a Red Sox fan. I think it's a great deal. You know, you can always look at the negative. When you're a Red Sox fan, you have to look at the negative. That's just the place we live. I have this saying about Boston sports fans. We're all on the grounds of Arkham Asylum. Some of us are in the cells and some of us are watching the guys in the cells, but we're still being medicated. Okay? That's really what it is. I'm the guy watching. Right? I'm on the outside going, oh boy, I was there. Give me that dose of lithium, right? We need a right-handed bat. I was kind of hoping they would make a run at JD Martinez. Maybe we're just waiting to see if the market softens a little more. The only negative thing I can see in this deal is Rafael Devers. I guess he goes to DH now, and it's kind of disconcerting. I was talking to Brother Brian. He's going to be on the podcast in the next week or so. And we were talking, and it's like, you know, 1 year into a 12-year deal, man, that's heavy going to DH already. But Ortiz made it work. You know, we have a talented young roster. I was looking at the over-under for wins. It was 85.5. Kind of a little skeptical of that. But, you know, we seem like we're just an 82, 83, 84 win. You know, Crochet, maybe he goes lights out. He's that number one guy we need. I don't know. We lost Pivetta today. He just signed with San Diego. San Diego, I've always admired. They got a GM and an ownership group that's really trying, especially in the shadow of the evil empire, the Dodgers. They signed Pivetta, 4 years, $54 million. I think it's a good signing. He's going to go from literally one of the worst parks for a pitcher to one of the best. It's going to be a really, really good thing for him. I think he's going to have a standout couple years here. We will see. We're going to get into baseball next week. That's our big thing. Also in the news, former number one pick Markelle Fultz of the Philadelphia 76ers in the 2017 draft signs with the Sacramento Kings to replace point guard De'Aaron Fox, who got traded to San Antonio. If we look back at that 2017 draft, he was the number one pick, and Boston had the number one pick, and we traded it to Philly, and I was like, oh my God, we're not going to get Fultz. You know, it's amazing when they come up to a draft, whether it's NBA or NFL, the ecosystem, they can build these guys into, this is the next Kobe, this is the next LeBron. I mean, it is literally crazy. And then this guy, it just never happened for him, man. He had problems, he had injuries, he couldn't shoot, you know, whatever. I feel bad for him. But if we look back at that 2017 draft, number 2 pick was Lonzo Ball. Okay, you know, he was a really good player, just injuries. I mean, you really can't predict it, or maybe they try to. Number 3 was Jason Tatum, who was the best player in that draft, and Danny Ainge pulled off another master class and got him. and basically set us up for the next 10 years. God, 2017. Jason's been in the league that long. Some other notables were number 5 pick was De'Aaron Fox. 13 was Donovan Mitchell. Fell all the way to 13. You know, when you see the pundits and they go, well, you know, nobody outside the top 4 is going to really make a difference. Yeah, you might be surprised. Number 14 was Bam Adebayo for Miami. You know, Miami has just a great culture. They have a great way of developing players. I would say in the NBA, they do the best job. Pat Riley is just incredible. I hate Pat Riley, but, you know, you got to give the devil his due. Also in the news, Matt Patricia is going to be the Ohio State defensive coordinator. He was the Patriots defensive coordinator from 2012 to 2017. Then he moved on to be the head coach of your Detroit Lions, which went terribly, terribly, terribly. And, you know, they took a swing at it, didn't work. Then they got the killer. You know, it's just, it is amazing. Those guys are the same. Patricia, you know, and it just didn't work. I really, how many guys coming out of the Patriot system have ever worked? McDaniels hasn't. Patricia, Judd. I mean, they just don't work. None of those guys. It's exact opposite of the Bill Walsh or Mike Holmgren tree, where everybody seemed to hit. You know. All right. Finally, well, not finally. The next item in the news, we're going to have our favorite receiver for Cops, Kadarius Toney. He who appeared in 3 games last year with the Cleveland Browns. He was arrested last week in Georgia for 2 counts. Get ready, everybody. Aggravated assault. Let's throw in a little strangulation and harassing 9/11 calls. Personally, I think this guy's got a great defense. All he has to say is, I played with Deshaun last year. Everybody's going to give him an out for PTSD. Good luck. And like I said, the Padres, they signed Nick Pivetta, 4-year, $54 million deal. You know, I was talking to a friend today, and the Dodgers signed Enrique Hernandez, and you know, the rumor going around LA is that they're going to sign Justin Turner. I don't even know if they have enough slots left on the team. I mean, it is. They don't have an all-star team, but they just have so many good bats. They have so many guys who plug in. And I was talking to that same friend, and I was saying, you know, there's a prop over at the Superbook that says that they're going, what's the odds of them breaking the Seattle Mariners record for wins in a season, 116, and the over is plus 700. And I just look at it, and I know that somebody winning over 112 games is something that happens once every 20 or 25 years. We've seen a lot of great organizations, a lot of great teams like the Oakland A's in the late 80s and the Yankees in the 90s. It's hard to win that many games, but I look at the Dodgers and I say, you know, if they come into town and you win one game, and I'm talking about them coming into your place, and you win one game, that's almost a good series. We were talking about it. I like the Phillies. If you're going to bet, I like the Phillies to win the World Series. I'm not saying, I don't know about their over-under yet. We'll get into that next week about wins. But they have a really good pitching staff. Really, really good. But, you know, the playoffs is a different animal. San Diego had LA by the throat last year and let them off. And look, I'm not blaming them. I mean, the Dodgers are super talented. Plus, they get Shohei Ohtani this year. You know, I mean, wow, to pitch. Like, you know, that guy's going to pitch 20 games. He's going to have a 75 pitch limit. I mean, what more do you need? Now you got this guy pitching and hitting. Christ's sakes, man. I wonder what happens, though, if he doesn't pitch well, if his hitting starts to get off a little. I don't know. I wonder if you just disrupt that whole thing. All right. Let's get to the betting aspect of the pod today. The Genesis Invitational starts today. It's not at Riviera in Los Angeles because of the fires last month. It's at Torrey Pines South, which is truly one of the hardest golf courses in the country. To me, I look at the analytics, I look at all that, but to me, I use the eye test, and I know, blah, blah, blah. It's what got me to Justin Rose a couple weeks ago at Pebble Beach for a top 20, which paid 6.75 to 1. I'm looking at the guys who I think are going to be good. Check the weather, but this is going to be a course very, very similar to what was at Pebble Beach 2 weeks ago. You got small greens, POA. Distance is going to matter. It is going to matter. I like the smaller greens because usually it helps the shorter hitters a little more and the bigger rough. South Course has some really treacherous rough and some canyons, but the short hitters really don't seem to do very well there. I like Rory McIlroy, but I'm not going to bet him at 8 to 1. I saw the lines last night, and basically to get them into the top 10, him and Scheffler, you got to lay 2 to 1. Don't do it. It's a sucker's bet. One of those two will not be in the top 10. Maybe both. It's just the way it goes. Morikawa, 16 to 1. I took a piece of him. I got a feeling, just looking at his stats, this is the kind of course that he does really, really well. He's not a super long hitter, but man, his middle irons are really deadly. I would say in this group, him and Matsuyama probably have the best middle iron game. Oberg, I can't figure out. I know he shot a 62 a couple weeks ago at Torrey Pines. It was on the North Course. It was the easy course, but I don't know if this guy went on a bender or what it was, but man, he hit the road after that. I'm not a big fan of him. Patrick Cantlay, the guy teases you all the time. Not worth it at 30 to 1. I will tell you the guy I'm interested in is Taylor Pendrith from Canada. This course sets up really well for him. I like him at 35 to 40 to 1. I did take him in the top 20. I got him at 3 to 1. I like that bet. Working our way down, I do like the Europeans on this course. They did very well at Pebble Beach. Shane Lowry, top 3. I like Robert McIntyre at 40 to 1 and Shane Lowry at 40 to 1. Now, I'm not going to bet him to win. I'm going to bet him for a top 20, and I'm going to get about 2.5 to 1 on both of them. I like that. I got a feeling between him, Pendrith, and Lowry, McIntyre that is, two of these guys are going to be in the top 15. Be careful where you bet too, because some of these things, especially DraftKings, they are effed, man. They tell you top 10, and if your guy comes in 8th, this is something they won't tell you until you get up there. Be very careful. I had this happen to me last summer, and I had a guy for top 5. It was at the tournament in Connecticut, where they had the protesters on the 18th green, and my guy got into the top 5, but there was 2 other guys who tied for 5th, so they were supposed to pay me like $300, and they only ended up paying me like $25. And I was like, how is that? There's only 8 guys in the top 5. Even if you take 8 and divide it by my number, it should be a way more than 30. And they're like, no, you're going to have to go see the board and all this. I'm like, oh my God. Do not bet golf at DraftKings. Just telling you right now. Just don't. F them. There's some places like Circa. They're above board. They're straight shooters. The Superbook in Vegas, straight shooters, never had a problem with William Hill or Harrah's or MGM. But you know what? Be careful when you bet those top 5s. It's a very scary proposition. Some of the other guys out there that I like, once again, I'm going to go back to Justin Rose. I really loved what he did at Pebble Beach. He's 125 to 1. I got him at 5 to 1 to get a top 20. Yeah, I took a piece of that. Thank you very much. There is one other guy, a floater. You want to put $5 or $10 on it? Matthew Pavon did really well here last year. Not so much the first go round. 320 to 1. Yeah, that's a nice number. I'm going to give you some of the matchups. Scheffler versus McIlroy. Scheffler's minus $1.45. Take back is McIlroy at plus $1.25. It's 20-cent take here. I like McIlroy here, but I'm not going to put money on it. It's just dangerous. Scheffler is he's winding back into form. He had some delay because of the cut hand, but at the end of the day, the guy's a top 10 machine, man. And McIlroy, it could be a hit or miss. We all know that. Morikawa versus Thomas, minus 110 each. I took Morikawa there. Matsuyama against Sungjae Im. I tell you, that Sungjae Im, that guy hangs around. That guy is really, really a professional golfer. You know, you look at him in the first round, he shoots a 70. In the second round, he shoots a 69. And, you know, and then on moving day on Saturday, he'll shoot the 68. And, you know, he'll be like 4 back. And then you're looking at the leaderboard on Sunday afternoon, he's like, oh, wow, he's only 2 back. You know? And then inevitably he does something, you know, he gets a double or, you know, whatever. And, you know, he finishes into the 8th slot. But I'm telling you, that guy is just, he's never going to win a major unless his putter just gets super hot. But that guy is a really, really good professional golfer. I would say he reminds me a lot of Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay, not really a big fan. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. He's going to make a lot of money. His putter got hot at the Ryder Cup. But, yeah, I don't got time for him. Tom Kim against Shane Lowry. Tom Kim is minus $115. I kind of like Shane there, but I'm gonna stay clear. Rasmus Højgaard is really a guy I'm looking at for the Masters. This guy is really starting to put together his game. He's starting to get some seasoning. He's starting to figure out these courses. I understand that the West Coast courses are not anywhere near what the Masters is, but the guy is starting to really impress me by just the way he's holding his own. Maverick McNeely, I like him too, against Russell Henley at $115. Interesting prop. 72 winning score, over under of 280. All depends on the weather, but this is a tough course. But it is a signature event. We're seeing all the monsters come out. Basically everybody except Xander Schauffele, who's recovering from hip surgery. I kind of lean towards the under. Leading score after the first round, over under 65.5. Over is minus $150. They don't think anybody's going to shoot 8 under. I don't know. There's a lot of monsters, man. There is a lot of monsters out there. But there is supposed to be rain. That's actually a good thing for low scores, you know, because the greens hold. These guys are so good, the rain doesn't affect the ball flight off the tee. It holds. Plop, plop, boom. That's it. Will there be a playoff? Yes, plus 400. Good luck on that. So my picks for the tournament, I like Morikawa. I like Pendrith. And I like Justin Rose to get a top 20. I also like McIntyre and Lowry to get a top 20. I hope you do well. I hope you make a lot of money. Hey, shop those picks. Get the best value. All right. Please hit the subscribe and like button, and I will see you tomorrow.